Autodesk Inventor is a 3D modeling software. This is part 1 of a tutorial series on how to use Autodesk Inventor. This tutorial uses the 2017 version, other versions will be slightly different. As we open up Inventor, we see here that we can make a new part, assembly, drawing, or presentation. We'll start by creating a part. Every time we make a new part, we start by creating a new sketch by clicking Start 2D Sketch. They give us 3 planes to choose from, and each is useful in a different situation. Right now we'll use the XZ plane. To create a sketch, we use lines and shapes. Each shape has different options to choose from. Today we'll mainly use line, circle, and rectangle. When we first draw a shape, it is green. This means it has no dimensions. The program needs to know how tall, how wide, and where our rectangle is relative to the origin. The dimension command helps us do this. We can access it by clicking the dimension command in the Sketch tab, or pressing the D key while editing a sketch. Then, to set the length of this side, we click on it. We then can type a number to set how long the side is. We can also use the dimension tool to set the distance between 2 lines, shapes, or points. We can use this feature to place our shape right on the origin. We first click a line, and then the origin, and type a number to determine how far apart they are. Notice how the lines change color because the program now knows how long and where those lines are. All of the dimensions are set. We can also type the length and size of our shapes right as we create them. When our shape is finished, there's a few ways we can turn it into a 3-dimensional part. In the 3D Model tab, we see the Extrude, Revolve, and a few other options that can turn our 2D sketch into a 3D shape. Using the Extrude command, we click the sections we want to extrude, and then we can decide how far to pull them by either clicking and dragging the orange arrow, or typing a number directly. Now we have a 3-dimensional object. You can pan around by holding down the scroll wheel and moving your mouse. If you hold Shift while doing this, you can rotate the object. You can also use the box in the top right corner to view from different angles. To continue to make our part, we can select Start 2D Sketch and then click a side of the shape to make a new sketch on the object. When making a 2D sketch on a 3D object, we can click Project Geometry, and then click the sides or edges of a shape to draw the edges of our 3D shape onto our 2D sketch. Now we can set the distance between our 2D shape and the edge of the 3D shape. In the Extrude window, we can also choose to extrude a new solid or to cut into our solid. By dragging the orange arrow or typing a dimension, we can choose to cut only part way through or to go all the way through. Drawing lots of shapes in our sketches can get repetitive. The pattern commands help us make lots of shapes using less effort. We can draw lots of shapes in a rectangle, circle, or mirror patterns. Using the rectangle pattern, we can select the shapes we want to replicate, lines in the direction we want to make our pattern, how far apart our shapes should be, and how many shapes we want in that direction. Using the circle pattern, we select the shapes we want to replicate, a shape or point we want to draw them around, and how many shapes we want in our pattern. Using the mirror pattern, we select the shapes we want to replicate and a line we want to reflect them over. Another command used to turn sketches into three-dimensional objects is the revolve command. Once we have drawn our sketch, we can click the revolve command and select what geometry we want to revolve. Click the red pointer labeled axis to select a line to revolve your shape around. Like the extrude command, we can choose how far to revolve our shape, and whether we want to make a solid shape or cut a hole. After we extrude or revolve a sketch, the sketch disappears, but sometimes we want to go back and edit that sketch. In the browser menu on the side, we can see everything we did to make this shape. If we click the arrow beside the feature, the sketch we extruded appears in the browser. If we right-click that sketch, then click Edit Sketch, we can change the sketch. We can also click Visibility, and the sketch will reappear. In first robotics competition, a lot of the parts we will be making will be made out of sheet metal. Autodesk Inventor has special tools to help make sheet metal parts that we can use if we set our part as a sheet metal part. We can do this by either selecting sheet metal part right when we create a new part, or by selecting Convert to Sheet Metal in the Environments tab. Once we do this, a new tab appears at the top, the Sheet Metal tab. Some of the most useful tools here are the Face and Cut tools. The Face tool turns sketches into sheet metal of a default thickness, which is quicker than extruding the sketch that distance every time. The Cut tool lets us cut a sketch out of a 3D object, which is more convenient than always extruding the sketch every time. There are many other useful tools for sheet metal here. I won't go into detail about each one, but try experimenting on your own.